springtime fishing on Lake Wallenpaupack. I have no idea what we're going to catch today, but I think whatever it is, it's going to be big. Hi, I'm Bob Murray, and welcome to a springtime edition of Delaware Valley Outdoors. We're on Lake Wallenpaupack today with my good friend and fishing partner, Bill Albright. Bill, thanks for inviting us up again.
Okay, Bob, glad you're here.
It's a little tough fishing today, Bill. As we know, in the springtime, we got some fronts that are coming through, and we got a wind that's blowing its howling out there, and we're trying to find some cover. What do we have? What are we going to use today?
We're using jerk baits, and you're going to try spinner bait, maybe some grubs, see if we can get some stripers. You know, they're starting to come in. Been catching some walleyes last week, some nice sized walleyes. But we're just going to have to fight the wind a little bit and try to find some places where we can fish for them without getting blown all over the place.
I know, that's a tough part about it. Bill, one thing that, we were just talking a little bit before now, is that we have to really adapt ourselves today with these type of conditions. And I think that's important to get across today, that how difficult it is going to be fishing today. Right. It's a sunny day, but it's not one of those warm spring days when the fish are just in shallow and we're hammering them. Right. We're going to have to really work for the fish. So we're going to slow our baits down. They're using a rogue that's suspending.
Right.
And I'm going to try a little bit of a slow rolling a spinner bait, and we might have to go to some other baits too, some jigs and other type of stuff.
Right.
Water temperature, what kind of water temperature?
51 degrees it is right.
See,
now.
that's really, that's tough. Right now, what should the water temperature be?
It should be about 56.
56, and that 5 degrees does make a
big difference.
a big difference.
Right.
Okay, well let's just work this shoreline, see how far we can stay out of the wind. And now the fish aren't going to be shallow today, really. What's the depth we're going to find our fish?
Most of the fish are going to be in about 10 foot of water. They're backed off the bank.
So they're not. They're staging, right?
They're staging.
They're staging.
Suspended, right?
Now, with the wind like this, I know it's been a pain in the butt, but does it really blow the fish or will they just back off?
They just back off a little bit. It's not so much the wind. The problem is the cold front. If we had just had normal weather and had a wind like this, it wouldn't matter that much. We'd be catching them right here, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
But the problem is with the front that went through.
Yeah.
Combination of that plus the cold wind.
And it knocks that water temperature down just a...
Yeah, it drops it a couple degrees.
Yeah.
And it's like stepping in a cold bathtub.
Yeah. It's like...
something's not right.
Yep.
So they back off. The pressure went way up. It was 29 something. It's up to like 30.5 or something like that.
The lure that you're using today is a rogue. Is that what we call it?
Right.
Okay. Now, who's that made by?
Smithwick.
Smithwick rogue.
Smithwick. Yeah.
And
Smithwick suspending rogue.
Suspending rogue, which is a different. It's an important part that. Let's just talk about that suspending part. Tell us about that. Okay, what do you want out of that?
What this bait does, it'll dive to about 6 to 8 feet on 10-pound test line, and then it'll actually stay there. It won't float up like your normal jerk baits. When you stop them, they float right up. At this time of year, when it's real cold like this, we want the bait to stay right there in the strike zone and sit there for the fish to get a chance to look at it. And usually they're going to hit it when it's sitting still. Most guys, what they're doing is they're working the jerk baits too fast, like you would do in the summertime. They keep going, letting it float up, hopping it. At this time of year, almost all the fish we catch, the bait is actually stopped. And that's a big key to fishing in cold water.
So after you jerk the bait a couple of times, move it, and then that pause.
You leave it sit for like 2 or 3 seconds.
And that's when the strike.
They hit it. They'll hit it hard, but it has to be sitting.
It has to be sitting.
Right. A lot of the guys that are fishing here aren't catching any fish, and what it is they're working the bait too fast. They're not letting it sit.
And so your technique would be, is it a fast pump,
Well,
or
you,
is it
you
a,
give it a couple of hard jerks to get the bait down,
Uh-huh.
and then just leave it sit. Watch your line. A lot of times you'll see your line jump.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then just give it like 1, 2, 3, and leave it sit. 1, 2, leave it sit. They want it real slow when the water's cold like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they're
And,
not going to chase it.
They're not going to chase it, right. Just that you get the flash out of it and just leave it sit there. That's why these baits work so well, because they actually stay right down there by the fish. They're not floating up out of the strike zone.
Mm-hmm. And that really gets the fish.
Gets their attention.
Right, gets their attention,
Right.
and it gives them something to focus on. And when
Right.
that pauses,
When it pauses, they think that there's an easy meal to grab,
Mhm.
and they just boom,
and they hit it.
Right.
Okay, that's
Right.
And now how far would that dive down?
About 6, 8 feet.
On 10-pound test.
10 pound.
Okay, that's
Some
important.
guys use 6, 6 or 8. I like to use 10 because if you do get a striper on it, there's less of a chance you're going to break you off.
Yeah.
Especially if you get a big fish.
Yeah.
And I
And at
found
this time of the year, you could
you could catch it real big.
really.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Now I'm be using a spinner bait here. I'm just going to try a little bit of slow rolling, a Durstein spinner bait here in white. And you got me excited for these stripers.
Mhm.
So I'm going to see maybe I can pick up with that flash
Right.
a little bit of a striper, but I'm going to slow roll it, and I'm also going to pause mine and have it flutter down and see if I can maybe pick something up that way.
Right. Oop, there's one.
There you go. All right. That's it. All right, good.
You're on this point here.
Yep. Oh, nice
Good,
fish.
good fish. Nice fish. Hey, nice fish.
Want to get one?
Yeah, you want to get that one loose? Watch the hook. Just watch the hook. I think he's got it pretty good.
He's got it pretty good.
Yeah, he's got it wedged in there. Now that's what we're supposed to be catching.
There we go.
That's a pretty
There
fish.
we go. That's a pretty one.
Now, he got it good. He slammed that.
Yeah.
Thought it was a striper for a second. But no such luck. Little calm spot, a little bit of sun on the water.
What we've been trying to do is stay out of the wind and get to a couple of spots where we didn't get blown off. And I guess that's just part of springtime fishing, but
Right.
it's been difficult. But here's the payoff when you can hang in there, Bill, right?
Yep.
And just work those jerk baits real slow.
Yep.
Come up with a smallmouth like that. That's a pretty fish. Beautiful fish. Woo! All right.
For the fisherman and hunter, want to show off that trophy and have a lasting memory of your catch? Looking for a taxidermist who is experienced, reasonable priced, and offers a 6 to 8 month turnaround? Look no further. You found Pleasant Springs Taxidermy. Keith Clymer, owner with 10 years experience as a taxidermist, has received many awards. Keith specializes in North American game, African, and exotics. Fish are also a specialty. Why not keep the one that didn't get away? All mounts are customized, and we give special attention to detail. So call today, 257-0730. Pleasant Springs Taxidermy.
Fishin' Tales, located in Wrightstown, is the perfect store for fishermen and hunters. For the fishermen, we offer 13 types of live bait, fly fishing supplies, and gear for both fresh and saltwater anglers. For the hunter, Fishin' Tales offers hunting equipment and supplies. You can also purchase your fishing or hunting license. Personal service is important. If there's something you don't see in the store, we'll special order it from you from one of our numerous catalogs. For your convenience, our store is open early 7 days a week. So stop in anytime and trade your fishtails with us.
Dale Clemens Custom Tackle, the world's largest supplier of custom rod building tools and supplies, located in the Lehigh Valley since 1975. They also carry reels, line, hooks, and lure making equipment. Dale Clemens offers a 100-page catalog so you can shop in the convenience of your home, or stop by our catalog showroom. We'll have a qualified rod builder to assist you. Dale Clemens features Loomis, Lamet Glass, Custom Builder, and All-Star Blanks, along with the best guides, Fuji. So why wait? Call 610-395-5119 or visit us today.
The Outdoor Shop in Quakertown offers everything you need for your fishing and hunting supplies. We specialize in used bows and handmade gun and rod racks. For the fishermen, we feature jigs, spinners, sinkers, flies, and hand-packed live bait. We're open early 7 days a week for your convenience. You can also purchase your hunting and fishing licenses at the Outdoor Shop. Don't just count on luck. Visit the Outdoor Shop before you fish or hunt. And while you're there, you can try your luck on the instant lottery.
on this point here.
Yep. Oh, nice
Good,
fish.
good fish. Yeah, he's really taking drag.
Woo! Huh.
Oh, yeah, nice fish.
Nice fish. You know, I just had that suspended.
Mm-hmm.
Lordy
calm
child.
water with the sun out. That's what we needed. Oh yeah. Strong, aren't they?
Woo! Look at this. Where are you at there, sorry? He just slammed
I
that.
told you, yeah, they take the rod out of your hand if you don't hold it tight.
Jesus. Come here, baby.
Nice going. Well, we found a little hot spot here now. What we needed.
There we go.
Probably get a couple more. We'll go back through this again. We'll go to the end.
Yeah, and that was just on the, again, that was just throwing it up along and just pausing it. And
Right.
again, it was on that pause.
Yep.
So he just... Pausing it again.
Oh.
Look out.
Yeah, you hit it right on the pause. Hit it. Stop dead. He hit it. Coming up again.
Woo. He's a little stronger.
Yep.
He's still green, Bill.
Oh, he's got a clamp shutter. Boy. Come on, open the mouth.
Jump on that troll.
Yeah, get the troll mark. Boy, that's a strong fish. I can't put him in his mouth. We got the pliers there?
Yeah.
Thank you. Nice fat fish, huh?
Beautiful. Beautiful spring. Road fishing.
Yeah, road fishing. Yeah.
Road fishing. All right, Bill. Again, that was another smallmouth, beautiful fish, and I know we were just talking how exciting that is when you pause that bait, but you really don't know when you pause that bait what's going to hit it.
Right.
Just a few minutes ago, I paused it and caught a real fat red eye. Walleye.
Right. We've been catching walleye all week. We haven't caught any yet today. There again because of the weather probably. And then you got a good chance of a striper
And
too.
a striper. I know that
Striper
one,
hits it the same way.
yeah, the one fish that I had that I really thought was a
Right.
striper was that
The way he ran with it, right?
way we ran. So you really don't know, again, in the springtime, fishing these rogues, what you're going to hit. And it could be a big smallmouth, it could be a big striper,
Right.
it could be a big walleye.
Right.
You don't know.
Yep.
All right, let's get back. I think there's another one up there
Yep.
for me. There you go. Ah, there you go.
Nope. Little one. He's a keeper. He'd be a keeper if he was in here.
Okay, now this little bass right here is what we call just a buck bass. The males are coming in ready to spawn, but still, even this size fish is still such a strong hitter. It's unbelievable. All right, you grow up and get big.
I mean, I see the first couple weeks we didn't catch any bucks at all.
You're catching
Now
big
the
ones.
bucks are starting
Yeah.
to come in, yeah. And the big ones are back off suspended.
I still, you know, they pound for pound though. That
Oh,
thing's
they fight
smallmouth.
nice, yeah.
Bill, now I know we've talked about it before that you run your tournaments. You still run 2 tournaments each year now? The two
Yeah, we still have the NABA and the Renegade Circuit.
and Renegade Circuit.
Right.
I know we were just chatting about the fishing Greenwood Lake and and whatnot. What's your tournament schedule running this year now?
We've had 2 tournaments at Greenwood already. We had April 6th and April 13th, because the season, of course, closes there on the 14th.
Yeah, so you
get
get
So we had the first tournament, April 6th. We had a lot of nice smallmouth brought in because the water was like 42, 44 degrees, real cold. In fact, it was one with smallmouth, nice tournament limit, smallies. And then the second tournament, which was a week later, water had warmed up to about 50 degrees, and it was one with largemouth, and there was not too many smallmouth brought in that one. Just the opposite.
And you just said that the size fish are just incredible. In
yeah,
that
beautiful fish. We had 9 fish over 4 pounds in the first one, and I think 4 of them were smallies over 4 pounds. In the second one, we had, I think, 8 fish over 4 pounds, and lunker was 545 largemouth.
That's it. Now, you guide on that lake too, right?
Right.
If you want to catch some big fish. Now, I fished Greenwood, and I've caught some awfully big fish in that lake. See Bill, have him go up there, meet him up there, and I know he'll put you on to some big fish in that lake. I love that lake. And it's not that far of a drive.
No.
It's not that far a drive.
It's in northern Jersey.
Yeah, so that's a good lake. Now, the rest of the tournament schedule, what are you doing for the rest of the season?
The rest of the tournaments, we have 2. We have 3 at Cayuga, 1 at Seneca. They're up in New York, the Finger Lakes. We have 2 here at Wallenpaupack, and then we're having 1 up at Cayuga Lake, which is the 3rd lake over of the Finger Lakes, which we never went to before, but they told me it's a real sleeper lake, and the fishing is fabulous. So we're going to try that this year.
And that's basically smallmouth fishing?
That'll be mostly smallmouth, right?
Smallmouth.
Right.
And now, Bill, I know everybody gets intimidated about the tournament fishermen and all that kind of stuff. These tournaments are designed for guys who are just getting into it too. This isn't the BASS high pros so the average guy could get into it.
Right. We have 2 entry fees. That's why we do that. We have a $70 trail, which is for guys just starting out.
That's per boat.
Per boat. So it's $35 a man.
So that's reasonable.
Yeah. And then our bigger trail, which we call the pro trail, is $150 a boat. So we get a lot of guys move up from the one circuit. In a couple of years they fish.
So they get their feet wet on the smaller circuit. Get the idea. If they still want to go with it, then they'll jump up to
a little more competition, right?
And there's some good money still.
Oh yeah, we have good payouts, sure.
Yep. And I know some of your sponsors and some of my sponsors, so I know some of the stuff that the guys get.
Right.
As far as the tackle packs and some of the stuff are some nice stuff. So even if they fish, they still get some of their money back. Just
right.
In the tackle stuff that you give away.
Yeah, we have Durstein Spinnerbaits works with us, gives us a nice lure pack to give to the guys, and Berkeley gives us a trialing line to give out, and power baits that the guys can use. So it works out real well.
So if you're interested in maybe trying a little bit of tournament fishing, we'll put Bill's number up for your tournament trails, and contact him and try to get into one. It's kind of fun. And Bill, I know one thing that all of us have said over the years. You learn so much by going into a tournament.
Yep.
Just being with the other guys, talking to other guys, and just being around them, you pick up so many tips.
Yep.
But I think if you want to improve your fishing, take the time and get with your buddy. You don't have to have a huge bass boat.
Nope.
And try one, because I think you'll learn a lot. I know I have. I've picked up a lot of tips and techniques just talking to guys at the dock, and I come back with maybe 2 fish, and these guys come back with 5, and I go, what? I did something wrong.
Right.
Or they did something right, as the case may be.
Yep.
And I think you pick up a lot. So if you get a chance, you want to try something this summer, and I guess you go right into the fall, don't you?
Yeah, right till October, yep.
You get a chance, you want to take a couple of days, and they're only one-day tournaments,
They're all one-day tournaments, right?
So you don't have to spend a lot of time traveling and that kind of stuff. Get a hold of Bill, we'll put his trails up, and I want you to try it. I think you'll have a lot of fun. We're here with the tackle box section of the show, and it's really important that we explain some of the tackle that we use today, Bill, and some of the tackle that you could use at other times. And you had mentioned a few baits that we didn't use today because of the conditions that we were doing. Let's look at the first bait that I have right here. What would we use this for?
Okay, that's the new small size of the Husky Jerk, and that's real good for the early season, like the first 2 weeks of April, 3rd week of April, when the trout water's real cold and the trout are in shallow, we're catching a lot of trout on the small jerk
And you
baits.
said like you downsized
Yeah,
it
downsized.
because of the size of the baits that we were using. They were obviously much larger.
bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trout like a small bait.
And again, it's what, silver with
Silver with black back, or this one here works good too. This is the bomber one.
Okay, and this is the
Excalibur,
uh-huh.
the bomber series, the silver sides, the little red nose on it, and they're both suspending baits, which
again,
is very important for this time of year fishing.
so you don't want the shallow divers, you
No.
want the suspending
Suspenders.
baits.
They'll go down and stay down.
And now, how deep will this dive?
Yeah, it goes about 4 foot.
4 foot, and that's about you're fishing
Well, you're
shallow.
fishing shallow, right? The water's 40 degrees. The trout are up on the bank cruising, so that's all you need is a 4 foot bait.
Now, would you fish these two small baits with a spinning rod, or would you use a bait
I
caster?
still use a jerk.
You still use a jerk bait rod like we were
jerk
using
bait
today.
rod, right.
But
Yeah,
you
they're heavy enough. They're suspended, so they got some weight in them. They're heavy enough that you could throw it out on a bait cast.
because it was, you can see the windy conditions that we had today.
Right.
If you were fishing bait casting today, you had some problems because that was a little tough fishing. But this has enough weight to it.
Right.
Does it have any rattles in it too, Bill?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's got a little bit of rattle to it.
Right. Yep.
And well, that's a nice looking bait. Okay, now we have the other two baits that you were throwing. One of these baits today. What do we have here?
That's the next size up of the Husky Jerk by Rapala, and it's a real good size bait for the stripers. Very good size. And what we do is use two different colors. We have the gold one if you have a cloudy type day. You don't have a lot of the bright sun out. You don't want the bait to flash a lot. You use the darker ones, the black back. Then if you have a sunny day like we did today, you want to go to the shiny ones like the silver with the black back.
Okay, now this is the
And
silver
that'll be
with
that
the
one
black
there.
back.
Right.
And
silver
that's
with black
one
back.
we were throwing
Today. Yeah.
today.
Yep.
And that's the Husky Jerk.
Right.
And
They're again suspending bait.
and one of the things that I want to, I don't know if we can show you today, but Bill sharpens his hooks so sharp that the wind was even blowing them into my hands today when I was bringing them back, and they were just so sharp. Bill, let's just talk a little bit about the importance of sharpening hooks.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, it means a lot, especially with a jerk bait, because a lot of times the fish just comes up and he slaps at the bait, or they hit it with their head and try to knock it before they're going to eat it. So if your hooks are real sharp, you got a good chance of, grabbing him when he comes by just to slap at it, and you get a hook into him that way.
And now you use what as
I use an electric Dremel.
Dremel that really,
It's the best sharpening tool there is for sharpening them.
boy, and you
Puts
can
a
see that.
conical point right on them in like 3 seconds.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
unbelievable how sharp these hooks are. That I can't even describe how sharp they are. But again, that's what you really want. And these are really good. What are these Excalibur hooks or
No, that's the hook that comes with the
Rapalas?
with the paddles. I believe that's a mustad on there. It's a
Mustad?
good strong hook.
Good strong hook.
Yeah. The other ones have the Excaliburs, which I think is one of the best hooks out.
Okay, now here are the baits that we were using
That's what
today.
we're using today, right?
And this is the
That's the Rogue, Smithwick Rogue suspender.
suspending again.
Right.
What size is this?
That's 5.5-inch bait.
That's a fairly big bait.
Right.
But then again, we were going for some stripers
Yeah,
and the
we're after
walleyes.
big fish today, right?
And we caught the some good, nice sized smallmouth. They're very good. And let's just talk a little bit again about how you fish this bait. How do you time that pause? I mean, today we timed our pause in between wind gusts, I would think.
Right,
But generally speaking, how do you do
It's
that?
a cadence. You throw it out, make a long cast, and then jerk it down. I go 1, 2, 3, leave it sit, then you give it 1, 2, and leave it sit. And the same thing, 1, 2, 3, leave it sit. And the main thing is you got to leave it stop. You got to count 2, 3 seconds and leave it sit there. That's when the fish are going to hit it. That's when it gets his attention. They use the bigger bait, makes a bigger flash, and it gets down a little bit deeper than the smaller ones. And when the fish are suspended like they were today, it's easier to get it down to them.
Now, we were fishing. How deep were we fishing as far as suspending this bait? How deep was the water when we were suspending it?
We're keeping the boat over about 18 feet and throwing towards the bank, and most of the fish are hitting in that 10 to 12 foot range. The bait's running about 8 foot down.
So we're right in that
yeah.
mid range,
Yeah.
and when we stop these baits, they just
They sit there.
They
just
just
like
sit
that,
there.
yeah.
So
And it just drives the fish crazy. I mean, it drives them nuts. They wonder, why isn't this bait moving,
it not only drives the fish crazy, it drives me crazy because you just wait there, and in the next second,
Right. They hit it so hard.
They hit it absolutely so hard. Okay, this is the silver with the black.
This is the dull. They call this Tennessee shad, silver shiner pattern. It's a dull finish. And we didn't throw this one today because we had the bright sun out.
Right.
And on a cloudy day or a rainy day, I throw this one rather than throwing the shiny one. That's the one we were throwing
And we-
today, the silver sized one, right?
We had a lot of luck with this
Right.
this bait today. Now this catches the walleye.
Yep. Oh yeah, we've been catching walleye. If it wasn't for this cold front that we had, we've been catching walleye all week, 2 or 3 a day, nice ones, from 3 to 6 pounds. But today, the way the weather was, we just couldn't get on the walleye.
The water today was extremely just difficult as anything to fish. We did catch some quality fish, but I think it was only because we were fishing this bait, and
Right.
because we didn't fish a lot of the spots that we really wanted to fish
Right, we
just
couldn't,
because
right.
of the weather. Again, now these have the Excalibur hooks on
Mhm.
them, and this is the, what pattern again would you say?
No, they call it the clown.
The clown pattern.
Clown pattern, yeah. It's
And
yellow,
again-
yellow back, silver side, red nose.
And I'm gonna tell you, this puts out a beautiful flash. It suspends, stops on a dime, and gives you 9 cents change.
Yep.
And they just smash this bait.
Yep.
It's unbelievable how they hit that bait. Okay, now you have a couple other baits that we tried
Right,
today,
right.
but we
Due to
found we had the
conditions, right,
best
right.
bet
Yeah,
on this thing.
Right. The spinner bait, you got Durstein spinner bait. It's an excellent bait. Silver blades are great for here because we have some of the alewives in here. That silver flash. But you know, the way we had this cold front today with the wind, we just couldn't get them to hit a spinner bait.
Right,
But,
I tried throwing this
Right,
morning.
right.
Again, you said stripers, I would
Yeah.
pick up a striper
Striper
on
will hit it
this.
too, yep.
And again, and the smallmouth would
Right.
hit it also.
Right.
And that's a great color, I think, up here
Yeah,
because
it
it
looks
matches.
just like a bait fish.
Yeah,
Yep.
bait bite. And it's a fairly big bait too.
Mhm.
And that's by Durstein.
Yep.
Okay, and
Yep.
the old
A
standby.
little spider jig. Yeah, we didn't even throw that today because of the wind. But when you get a day that it's just the opposite. When you get a day that it's real slick, a lot of times the jerk bait doesn't work as good because a little bit of wind is good for that. So when you get the real slick day, you have to go to something like this with a finesse type bait, and you can get into the creek channels or in the mouths of the creeks, even closer in the coves.
Now you had
and work
mentioned
it real
that this
slow.
was working well just
Yeah.
the other day.
Yep, just the other day we were catching them on that because we had a slick day.
Mhm.
You know, there's no wind at all. It's tough for the jerk bait because they get too good of a look at
Right.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. You want a little bit.
You
of
want a little bit
surface,
of chop,
yeah.
not as much as today, but a little bit.
not
right.
not 3-footers like we
Right,
were
right.
fishing in.
But,
Again,
then
and this
that's
is
a great bait.
a little jig. What is that?
Little rubber skirt. Yeah, that's an 1/8 ounce.
And what, they call this a spider. What is it?
Spider jig. they call
Spider
it.
jig.
Right.
And it's got what you said, a lot of salt in
There's
it.
a lot of salt in it.
They
Yeah.
really-
They hold on to
They
it.
hold on to it.
Right.
I don't think it's soft. It really they tear.
Yeah,
if
they
you have a
tear
lot of
easy.
hits,
Yeah.
they tear it up a lot.
Right, right.
And again, you can fish this on a spinning rod. Then,
Oh,
too.
definitely. That's spinning rod bait. Yeah. Come on up there, baby.
Come here.
Heavy fish.
Nice fish. Oh. Let's see. Get up. Here, come here. Open up. All righty. Bill, you had that one hooked just in a look at that.
Yeah, barely hooked. Took a swipe at it.
Smallmouth. Springtime fishing. Bill, thank you very much.
Yeah, had a great day.
Lake Wallenpaupack, springtime fishing. You got to get up here. See Bill, put you on some fish. Maybe we'll catch some stripers in a little
Well, we're
bit.
trying, right?
Hey, I'm Bob Murray. I'll see you again on Delaware Valley Outdoors. Oh, it's a nice one, Bill. Oh, nice. Or chunk. Yeah, beautiful.
Bucks County Outfitters